You're not pizza. Not everybody's supposed to like you. I think this is one of the most critically important messages that no little girl ever got in her upbringing. Okay, you can drop your hands and just remain with your eyes closed for a minute and notice the sensation in your body. Notice the calm, notice the tingles. When all of a sudden you start to notice your body starts to get tighter and contract, and you notice, now I'm myopically focusing on a problem. Now here I am staring at the problem, and wherever your focus goes, that's where your energy flows, and that's exactly what you see back to you reflected through the way your actual brain works. Like, you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes.
Get ready for the next iteration of you on your path to becoming wealthy. On this show, you'll get the insider's view on wealth creation, the class none of us got taught in school, with my co-host, daughter, and beginning investor, Sophia Bosch. And now, let's get started. Welcome to the Becoming Wealthy podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch, my co-host, Sophia Bosch. And we are excited to bring to you today a very special lady. I always think of her, I was telling Sophia before we started that I always think of her as a female Dr. Joe Dispenza. I mean, her depth is just incredible. And, you know, I had the opportunity to meet her in a mastermind group that we were both together in. And I'm so happy to introduce Tracy Litt. Tracy is the founder of the Litt Factor and the School of Becoming, which I thought, how can we not have her when we're about becoming wealthy? Anyways, she's an international best-selling author, podcast host, science and spirituality teacher, emotional healer. She was named the top 125 global thought leaders of 2022 by Success Magazine. She's a TEDx speaker. She holds a license on professional coaching, neurology, somatics, hypnotherapy. And welcome, Tracy. I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
I'm so pumped to be here. The only thing that would make it better is me beaming myself right in between the two of you in person.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
If we could do that. Yeah. But hey, slowly and slowly, we're becoming supernatural, I think, as a collective. So yeah, it'll be there sometime before we know it. Sophia, so do you want to kick us off with the very first question for Tracy?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm just curious, like, what is your story and how did you get started on this path? Like, did you go to college or something for, like, something completely different, or what's the story behind it?
Yes, I love this question. So, I did not go to traditional college at all.
Okay.
And I can speak to this now because I am who I am and I've done the work and I understand. But when I was younger, I struggled with a really, really deep, I'm not smart enough, core disempowering belief. And that not smart enough belief created, like your beliefs create the lens through which you see the world. And the lens through which you see the world dictates how you show up in the world and what you do and your behavior and what you're available for. And because I perceived I wasn't smart enough, I told myself this really good story about how I didn't need college and I wasn't interested and it wasn't going to be for me. So as a result, Sophia, I didn't go to traditional college. I went right into the workforce. I tried a couple classes to appease my parents, but nonetheless, it didn't work out. And I ended up rising through the corporate ladder to land as a vice president of human resources, actually, which I did through effort and energy and my personality and working the hardest and ultimately landing in that role. Then once I got there, I thought I nailed it, right? Because society tells you a lot of things. And one of the things it tells you is follow the order of operations, go to school, get a great job, buy a house, buy a car, get a bike picket fence, maybe get married, have a couple kids, get a dog, make 6 figures, and voila, you will be fulfilled. I think we all know that's a lie. I know enough about you, Michelle, also to understand like how big the capacity is and how big your dreams are and what you've generated. So I hit that point, Sophia. I was like, okay, aren't I supposed to be thrilled now? Like I did it, but I felt meh inside, and my soul started to get louder and louder, gnawing at me with things that felt like you're meant for more. You have a huge gift. You have a huge capacity, and you're going to be someone who changes the world. And that knowing kept happening. And Sophia, I did nothing with it for 2 years. I kept hearing the message, but I did nothing. Why did I do nothing? Because the voice in my head said, what if you suck? What if it's too much of a risk? What if people judge you? What if you fail? What if you leap from this safe corporate job and go out into this crazy unknown space and building a business and you can't come back to your job? So for 2 years, I believed that level of mind. And what I know now, because now I am a fear expert, is that was my fear talk track. A lot of people think of it as self-doubt. It's not self-doubt. It is your fear feeding your mind the thoughts that it needs to get you to stay the same, to get you to sit in your comfort zone. So I had believed that thinking for a while, did nothing. Then finally, my higher self, my next level self, came to me one night when I was sitting on a patio on the beach and very clearly said, like, you cannot die like this. You have a gift and you've got to do it. So I leaned into trust and I enrolled in coaching school, and the rest is history. And it's been absolutely incredible ever since.
I love that story, Tracy. What a powerful life that you've lived, to notice, okay, this is the track that I have been on. It requires some tremendous courage and bravery to say, this is not, this is not the vehicle that I should be on. I need to switch. And to really step into your personal power to basically say, I'm not repeating and going on this downward spiral of old programming of feeling judgment and shame or guilt or self-doubt about who I am and what I'm here to do for everyone else as a gift, as a service, is fantastic. So thank you for being a demonstration of just bravery and courage for Sophia, because she's beginning her process of becoming. And I think hearing these stories of women like yourself and, seeing yourself, okay, going down one path and having the bravery to just switch lanes is just fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. You just mentioned that you're a fear expert. Yeah. Sophia, today was Sophia's first day of junior high, or high school. Yeah. And she was excited, but at the same time, a little bit fearful. Do you wanna share with Tracy a little bit about what was going on? Because it's fear. I think that sometimes, it's not just her as a child. I've had fear like the one that she was experiencing in the last few days, coming into the beginning of the school year, where it paralyzes you for a few days or months, or where it physiologically presents itself with symptoms, of either headaches, of either, stomach aches, of nauseous, of, cold, sweaty hands. Like, we know those, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, do you wanna maybe ask her a little bit about that and how you could basically deal with such emotions,
Okay, yeah. So today was my first day of junior year. Finally an upperclassman.
Big deal. It's a big deal.
Yes. Finally not the smallest fish. Anyways, so going into this year, there's obviously the first day of school jitters, going back to like you were just chilling at home, going back to like all of the assignments, getting those turned in on time, having the expectations from your teachers, things like that. And of course, it's like, who's going to be in your classes? Are the teachers good? All of that is like little normal things. But then on top of that, I had a situation last year where a good friend of mine, I think there was some miscommunication. Like, her perspective is that she wasn't being heard and she did not let me know that she felt that way. So I just kept acting like I was, but I could sense there was like a switch in her attitude towards me or something like that. And not being heard, like, if you tell me that, I will, like, that is a friendship that I want to maintain. Like, just let me know that is something that I can work on. Like, I will actively try and work on that. But she didn't tell me. And as a result, she started being very passive aggressive almost to me, like little comments, and it left me spiraling, I guess.
All right, can we stay there for a second? Can I play with you? Can we just play?
Yeah.
We're going to do such okay. So, finish that sentence for me. It left me spiraling because
Because of the way she was treating me.
You felt like
Or like because it made me feel like I didn't have a personality, like I didn't know who I was.
okay.
had to walk basically on eggshells, like every single comment. Can I say?
Comment, like every word that came out of my mouth, I thought it was being constantly judged because she kept picking apart or like disagreeing or something with everything that I said. And I, like, it made me like stay silent. And because of that, I felt like I wasn't expressing myself. And therefore I thought I was slowly losing my personality in my head.
Yeah. Sounds like you started shrinking because you didn't feel safe around her anymore.
Yeah.
In the environment with her. Okay, so where is it now? Before we dive in, like what's happening today?
So that was at the end of the year. Or then I started like, what is going on? I was just focusing on, okay, let me put that aside. Let me just focus on school. Like, and I worked on it. There were also a couple of girls that I did want to become friends with. And the universe put me into the same room, same class, same little bubble room, like extra room. Like, it all came together and I became really good friends with them. And at the end of the year, they said, "Oh my God, I love your personality." And then I was like, wait, there are people that can see I have a personality, people that can see it, and it's those people that can see it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So now with her, I am very, like, today it was like very friendly, passive. Like, I know I have set some boundaries for myself now. Like, but I'm also trying to actively listen and hear her, things like that. But
there was a little bit of dread about going to school.
Yeah,
this morning.
Of course. Well, that. Definitely. And before I dive into that, my last question is, what's your desire here, Sophia? Like, what would you love to experience in relationship with this girl? Your desire, not her desire, like your true honesty.
Well, before it was all very, like, she was one of my best friends, like closest friend, could talk to her about anything. I don't know if it can get to that certain point again, but my desire is for us to at least be on a friendly basis, no bad blood, like.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Get to a nice
space.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you lovingly asked her to have a direct conversation?
No.
Okay. And because?
One, fear. And for the second, for the longest time, I didn't know if I had done anything wrong. Like, I didn't know if I was the problem, but all I knew is that she was treating me not very well.
Got it.
So I'm like,
okay, so this is like so beautiful, because there's so many gifts in this like scenario you just laid out. And I also want you to know the fact that we're having this conversation, right? And yes, Michelle, you are here, which is a gift. But Sophia, what I want you to know is if you take what we're about to do together and talk about, and you start to practically apply it in your life, you will be astounded at what you create. Because I'm having the conversation we're in right now, I am having with women in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s, and they are having to unbecome and undo decades of patterning and shrinking and self-judgment. Okay? You with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first piece is you're not pizza. Not everybody's supposed to like you. I think this is one of the most critically important messages that no little girl ever got in her upbringing, because we were all so raised for inclusion and fitting in. It's like, I want to be included and I need to be included, and do they like me? But it would be weird, like actually weird, if there were people that were liked by everyone, right? Like think about the people that you love and aspire to the most. If you think about Oprah, or you think about the Dalai Lama, or you think about let's say Steve Jobs for his contribution to the world, or you think about all of these people.
Yeah.
There are just as many people that love them and just as many people that don't like them at all. And the reason why I want you to know that is I want to help you bolster. I am Sophia. I know who I am, and I am fully expressed no matter who's around. Because that's about your relationship with you. And your relationship with you is the most important relationship you're ever going to have in your life, because it drives and informs all of the other relationships you have. Tell me what you're receiving right now.
Understand who I am first and be confident in that, and that will point like to the right people or connections.
Yes, exactly. So there's a phrase that I live by, of many, but one of them is, take me or leave me, either way, awesome. Take me or leave me, either way, awesome. I'm not for everyone, and that's cool, because I know that I'm not supposed to be liked by everyone. Because if I were to be liked by everyone, or Sophia, you were, or Michelle, you were, that would tell me you're not being the fullest expression of yourself. What that would tell me is you're contortionisting, or you're being a chameleon, or you're with this friend group, you're like this, and with this friend group, you're like this. So yes, you got it. Exactly. When you're true to you, everything flows like magic, even if it gets sticky with certain people. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that I want to acknowledge, and we'll do like a little something yummy in the body, is that feeling you were describing, and Michelle, you were echoing it, like, you know, it's like excitement, but it's nervous and you don't know what's going to happen. And it's what's really going on when fear is present is your nervous system moves into a state of dysregulation, because you feel unsafe, right? You feel unsafe when you walked into school. Is she going to be there? Is she not? What's she going to say? What's going to happen, right? And then the mind goes crazy because the body is not regulated, meaning it's not calm. It's not in rest and digest. It's like a little stressed out and jacked up. So would it be cool if we do something together right now that helps you like bring yourself into center every time?
Please.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Okay, we get to close our eyes too. So for everyone who's hanging out with us that's listening, you can choose to close your eyes, or you could just like relax them and stare at the floor. If you feel safe closing your eyes, let's do that. I'm going to close mine. Let's take our left hand and put it on our heart, and take our right hand and put it on our belly, and then kind of bring your elbows in so you're kind of hugging your own body. And now let's take a deep breath in through your nose and really fill up your belly. And hold it. And now slowly exhale through your nose. Let your shoulders drop, relax your face. Taking another deep inhale in through your nose. Hold it. And slowly exhale through your nose. Keeping your eyes closed, relax your tongue in your mouth. Relax your face, drop your shoulders even more. As you continue to breathe in your natural rhythm. And now repeating after me. Hi, body.
Right?
Hi, body.
Repeat after me. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, body.
Hi,
Hi,
body.
body.
I love you, body.
Love you, body.
Thank you, body.
Thank you, body.
I know you feel a little unsafe,
I know you feel a little unsafe,
but I'm going to give you the safety you need.
and I'm going to give you the safety you need.
I'm here, and it's safe.
Safe.
It's safe to express.
It's safe to express.
It's safe to be all of me.
It's safe to
It's safe to not be liked by everyone.
safe to not be liked by everyone.
It's safe to feel good.
It's safe to feel good.
Thank you, body.
Thank
Thank you for supporting us.
you for supporting us.
I love you. Now take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And on the exhale, give me an audible sigh with some sound. Good. We're going to do that one more time. Deep inhale in. Hold. Audible sigh. Okay, you can drop your hands and just remain with your eyes closed for a minute. And notice the sensation in your body. Notice the calm, notice the tingles. And whenever you're ready, you can come back.
Thank you for that gift.
You're welcome.
Body getting in tune with my heartbeat again.
Yeah. How does it feel in both of your bodies right now?
Just this little bit of current and electricity on my fingertips,
Yeah, your energy. So good. What about you, Sophia? How did that feel?
I mean, I feel the same little.
Tingly.
Yeah. But I feel overall more relaxed.
Okay, good. And that's a beautiful thing you can do. Like when you're on your way to school, if you're feeling something, you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to sit in a stall. I'm just going to put my hand on my heart and I'm going to breathe a little bit. What I'm doing with you guys is we're relating to our body, right? Our nervous system is the command center, and our nervous system goes from our brainstem that's connected to our body via our spine and goes all the way down through our body and then into billions of little tentacles of the nervous system throughout all of our limbs and arms and fingers and toes and everything. So when you can really speak to the body and relate to it, what you're doing is you're diffusing your fear response. You're calming it down so that you can then come to conscious choice and remember things like, oh, I'm not pizza. Got it. I can go be myself, right? And being able to bring those things to mind. The other thing I want to say just in this subject matter is compassion. We have no idea what someone else is experiencing. We don't know, Sophia, what is happening or not happening for this girl, even when there are friends. I mean, Michelle, look at how many women in our age range aren't honest about how they feel, or they aren't modeled in the home. I mean, listen, so the gift, Sophia, of you having your parents and their progressiveness and their openness, that's atypical, right? My daughters have that too because they have me. But when we really, really understand humanity, we go, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on. And even if she's my friend, I still might not know. And she might not be, someone might not be out there helping her communicate or helping her be honest with her feelings. And that doesn't mean compromise yourself and be overly compassionate. It means lead with an open heart and have that compassion, because the brain can't be in compassion and judgment at the same time. So it keeps you open and available.
I love that. And I love that you bring that right now, especially on the compassion side, because I think a conversation that is very hard led can really probably diffuse, a lot of, this, thing that is going on. And I think until that conversation really happens, there's going to be this thing that you're carrying that you don't really will have put down, and left and down and behind in the past, unless it's being had. And I think if it comes from this beautiful, place of openness, of really a heart-to-heart conversation, of truly wanting to understand and to see what was going on in her world as well. I think we all deserve grace and opportunity to, for someone to mirror back to us, and to you did give her grace, but still sometimes, if a friendship is important, if a relationship is important, I'm not one to give up so easily. But at some point, if the thing progresses and continues, then at that point, it's like, yeah, I'm not pizza, or what did you say? How did you?
No, I'm not pizza. That's it.
Pizza, exactly. And
Right.
and
It's also
time to move on, because sometimes there's certain people that come into our life, for a season, and
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's just how it is,
Yes. And also, Sophia, grace is something that it's a way of operating, right? So grace, whether or not the conversation goes the way you intend, grace, whether or not your friendship comes back online the way you thought it did before, just general grace and that patience, so that you also can stand in your truth, right? Because this isn't about people pleasing or being like, okay, I'm going to tolerate this. It's also okay to open the conversation, see how it goes, and just let it be. I think something that happens, and I've observed this in my daughters, Sophia, I have 3 daughters, 18, 20, and 21. So I get you and what you're saying. I am there with you. And it's a beautiful thing to not need immediate resolve. It's a beautiful thing to practice. I'm going to be true to me. I am going to be loving and compassionate towards her. I'm going to open this door via a conversation, right? And wherever it goes, it goes. And if it resolves now, cool. And if it resolves in the holiday time, cool. And if it lingers, cool. Right? And learning that it's an ability to walk through life without needing to control, without needing to know, right? Being more open and more available. And that's really, really important.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. This I think it's perfection, and it's great. It's great timing. It's divine intervention of another, amazing, powerful woman. Talking to her about that, especially now, because I was sharing with Sophia, a while back, that when I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, there was this little group of girls that I used to hang out. And for some reason, from one day to the next, it was like I did not exist. And that experience was very responsible, I think, for me having an incredible level of distrust with other women. It wasn't until my 30s that I was like, okay, I'm ready to join women-only groups, that I'm ready to really meet other amazing female CEOs, and really, because I was craving that resolution, from that experience of completely having lost, trust in a connection with another beautiful, powerful woman.
Yeah.
And that's years, like you said, of unraveling,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a very common story. Many of us, right, have those kind of relationships. And what it all comes down to also is this desire for belonging. That's all we all want.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the other thing I want. I feel really called to speak to you, Sophie, even though this message is for you, Michelle, and everyone who's listening, but you belong, period. There's no conditions to your belonging. You belong wherever you decide you want to go. Full stop. Right. And that's part of you being in this really, really convicted, unwavering belief in yourself, your wholeness, your worthiness, your lovability, your acknowledgement that, cool. I mean, how fun is it to know that not everybody needs to like you? It's kind of, to me, when I figured that out, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, because it changes the whole way that you show up in every situation, and it allows you to be who you are, So, yeah, it's big.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is probably one of the many things that I'm sure that, you know, you deal with your clients. There's probably, you know, this, I know you touched upon it just briefly, Sophia. You said my sense of worth. I think for us women, even as we go out there in the world, you know, and we're trying to normalize, you know, new levels of wealth, new levels of prosperity, it all comes back to, you know, our individual sense of worth. And it could be that that individual sense of worth, you know, got hurt at some point from an experience like this, or from an abusive relationship with a spouse, or with, you know, not feeling appreciated in a workplace environment. You know, there's so many, you know, reasons for that. And how do you deal? What kind of strategies do you give women in general that are dealing with, you know, where their sense of worth seems diminished, you know? And
yeah, so it's actually, this is so important because our worth is inherent. Our worth is our birthright. Our wholeness is the truth of what we are. And every single person in this world deals with unworthiness, period. They're based on how we are biologically and how we get programmed and conditioned as we grow. It is literally impossible to come up through life and feel like you're worthy all the time. Like, it is biologically impossible. We all struggle a little bit with I'm not enough. It depends on what the flavor is. Not smart enough, tall enough, good enough, skinny enough, brilliant enough, bright enough, rich enough, whatever the enoughness is. And really where the work begins inside the School of Becoming is we only evolve your identity on the foundational truth that you are worthy now. We're not even entertaining that you have to earn it, because then we're going to keep perpetuating the old identity. We get to heal through it, which we do by getting back into the body, because that's where our trauma lives. And it doesn't even have to be big T trauma like sexual abuse or abandonment or, you know, something like that. You know, I had a really, really, for all intended purposes, beautiful childhood. Middle class Jewish family from New Jersey. Nothing crazy big T happened, but I completely perceived I wasn't enough. From having a sister who was 2 years older than me and always comparing myself and not realizing that's what I was doing. And, you know, there was one time where my mom brought us to trial for cheerleading, and my older sister had cheerleader, and they made me the mascot. And because of the way the mind works when we're little, I made that mean I'm not enough. If I was enough, I'd be a cheerleader too. Why am I a mascot? And we start to internalize things, right? So it's important just to recognize, and let's just normalize, no one feels worthy until they go within and they go, oh, wait a minute, that's been the lie. The truth is, I'm worthy, and I'm worthy now. And it is not dependent on who I am and what I do and what I create and how successful I am. It is my birthright. As I breathe, I am whole. As I breathe, I am worthy. And that's where you actually build more wealth and build more love and build more impact from.
that was amazing, Sophia. And as you were saying that, I was just thinking, what an incredible constellation of things needed to happen in order for you to exist and be Sophia Bosch, with two parents from completely different countries, you know, where somehow we stumble upon, I mean, like your story of creation and of existing and of worthiness is just like, it blows my socks off just thinking about it right now, in terms of like, and for all of us, just the things that needed to happen, you know, in order for, I can think of, you know, my, you know, dad, Jack, he was born on his mom was born on her way from Yugoslavia back to Germany, you know, during the World War II, and things that had to happen in order for his mother to come to life, and in order for him to come to life. And what amazing stories, creation stories, you know, that really shape that foundation of identity, of self-worth, of like, yes, I am worthy, I belong, I am here. Look at all these things that needed to happen. And if we would think more of just our story of creation, of how we came to be, we would be more prone to, through perspective.
Yes, through perspective,
that sense of worth,
You're a miracle, right? That's what you're saying. I mean, getting pregnant's not an easy thing, actually. And having a child a full-term child, all the way to birth this is harder than people perceive that it is, right?
Yes.
And when you look at the miracle that we are, the odds of me being me and you being you and you being you is 1 in 400 trillion. The odds. So, like, Sophia, imagine, how would you walk into school tomorrow if you actually believed and remembered you were 1 in 400 trillion?
Bam.
Right? I mean, come on. You'd be like, all right, my shoulders are back. My boobies are out. Let's go. Here I am. Hello. I know who I am. Like that, but that's the whole part of it, is that, to your point, we spend so much time in the habit and the limitation of affirming the lie of whatever your I'm not enough story is. And if you would just pause for a minute to go, hold on a second. The truth of me being me is 1 in 400 trillion, and I am a miracle. So what if I believe that instead? How would I strut differently, right? How many hours are you giving up? And I say you to both of you and all the listeners, believing the lie. How much easier and flowier would day after day after day be if you're like, yes, I'm a miracle. Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm a miracle. How are you? You'd be like, it would be a whole different game. It would be a whole different, that's the world I'm trying to build. That's why the school is here, because I want a new world filled with women that are unabashedly themselves and that are completely operating from their inherent worth.
Yeah. Now, tell us about the how of within. I know that's the name of your podcast.
Yes.
Like, what is that all about? Like, what does that mean? The how of within.
I love that. So, in my experience, we all want to know how, right? Even like when I started my business, but before I became who I am, I was like, how? Oh my God, okay, but how am I going to do that? Oh, I want to have a coaching company, but how am I going to do that? And we get very, very stuck in the external how. How do I do it strategically? How do I do it tactically? How do I do it logistically? I don't know what I'm doing. And the name How Within actually was like a beautiful download moment. I was doing a Facebook Live talking about, so our youngest just graduated high school and is now off to college. So literally this past weekend, we moved in 2 apartments and a dorm room, 3 girls, done, they're off. We're empty nesting now, right? Like, we're in it, literally this past weekend. And a year ago, I was doing this live stream talking about when we become empty nesters, we are going to buy this gorgeous condo in downtown Del Rey, and we're going to renovate it. And I'm telling this whole story, and I'm telling this manifestation story because I had just put a $200,000, talk about becoming wealthy, a $200,000 down payment on this condo that I'm in right now that we just renovated, that took us a year to renovate. And the $200,000 came from my company that I built from nothing. So I'm telling this story, right? And I didn't come from money. And at one point in my life, I was a single mother with Taylor and we were on food stamps. Like, I have been all over the gamut of money and wealth. And I'm telling this story in the live stream and I'm getting all these questions. How? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? And I went, it's the how of within. So what that means is the external how is none of your business. The how that you need to pay attention to is what's happening inside. It's the how of within. It's what is your energetic frequency? What thoughts are you thinking? What are your beliefs in your subconscious mind? What language do you let leave your lips? How are you showing up when you walk in a room? These internal things.
That happens when you have a little obstacle. You know, you have this big why or this big goal and you're focused, and all of a sudden, this little thing, obstacle, challenge comes in the way. And I tell Sophia, and sometimes we go and we focus on that, and we forget about this bigger, you know.
Yes, well, because
I'm thinking this is a little bit of the within part of like really consciously, basically noticing where you're at.
noticing. And that's part of, so in the school, the core curriculum starts with mind magic, right? And that's like the how then in a program form. And we talk about focus and attention. And that's what you're talking about. It's when you're honed in on your internal environment and your how within, then you notice when all of a sudden you were like doing your thing and feeling great and on that pizza and watch me shine. And then all of a sudden you start to notice your body starts to get tighter and contract. And you notice now I'm myopically focusing on a problem. Now here I am staring at the problem, and wherever your focus goes, that's where your energy flows. And that's exactly what you see back to you reflected through the way your actual brain works. Like you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes. And what's driving that is your reticular activating system. And where you put your focus and attention is what you see. So now if I'm over here and I'm like problem, all I'm asking to see is more of the problem. And then I'm getting tighter and tighter. And then what do? I talk to you about it. I talk to someone else about it. Now we're complaining. Now we're all in the problem. Meanwhile, over here, all of the possibilities and all the solutions are just walking right on by, but you can't even see them because your focus and attention is on the limiting thing instead of the expansive thing. That's like an example of really playing with your.
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is like, okay, anytime you zoom into something, you're basically constricting or,
Yes, exactly.
And anytime that you are zooming out, you're getting perspective to see other solutions.
Yes.
So,
exactly. And reality is perspective, right? Reality is not real. Nothing's real until you make it real.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you excited about? I mean, I know that, the school of becoming is happening. You have amazing women that you're working with. What are you excited right now, Tracy, as, we're going into the second half of 2024 and beyond?
Yeah. Oh, so many things. On a personal front, I'm really excited for the girls, and I'm really excited for me and David, right? Because I feel my feelings. So I've got, I cry, I do all the things, but my prevailing emotion is so much excitement because I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Right. The oldest one is getting her master's. She's now living with a boy. That's a whole new game. When the girls started, you'll love this, Sophia. So when the girls started dating, in high school, they started, dating boys, this and that, whatever. My husband used to say, it's like adding someone to our sitcom. Now here's a new character who's hanging out with us that's eating pizza on a Friday night. So I'm really excited for their trajectories. Maddie's getting her master's. Taylor's a junior in college now. She's got a new roommate, a sorority sister. Zoe's starting college. So I'm excited for them, and I'm really excited for us because I'm a great empty nester. I am a really.
I think that you guys are gonna have an amazing time together. I don't know. Is hubby still land flipping?
Yeah. No, he is not land flipping anymore. He is now working in law. But he's doing amazing. And yeah, so we're loving it, and we're loving, like, we in our environments, we talk a lot about vision, right? And what are you building and what are you creating? And right now we're living in the condo that was once just an idea.
Yeah.
And right now, here we are. So I'm excited about that. I'm really pumped about the school and the upcoming semesters of Mind Magic. We're about to enroll in one in the fall, and we do 3 semesters a year. We're announcing a brand new live event at the end of 2025 called Trust Fall. That's coming, and that's going to be insanely amazing. So I'm excited for life, and I'm excited to intend, but truly have no idea what's going to happen. That to me is the sweet spot, like being in love with the unknown, like actually, and being like, what's going to happen today? I don't know. What's going to happen?
And being able to hold it,
Yeah.
Because sometimes our inability to be able to hold it for a long period of time, that uncertainty is what we give into the fear, and then we shrink again. So I honor you for that. I'm excited, to see what's going on in the School of Becoming as well. And if anyone is interested in finding out about all things, manifestation, healing, everything that you do, that has to do even with, bringing, like you were just saying, things that are just in our mind out there, and making them real, where can women, get in contact with you? Where can they connect?
Amazing. theschoolofbecoming.com. Go to theschoolofbecoming.com, and there's a really cool free ascension assessment on there. It's like 11 questions, super fun. That's a great place to start. It opens you up to the free resource library and tons of things to read and watch and listen. And then when you're ready, you come and evolve your identity inside of Mind Magic.
That sounds amazing. Maybe we need to go there and see if we can find, some tools in it, not just for you, Sophia, but for me too.
Yeah, it really is my intent with the school is to build something that we deserve as women leaders of all ages, that was never available to us because we didn't know then what we know now, right? We deserve new schools of thought. There's a lot of things that we get taught, and yet nothing that we're taught in an academic environment or like the actual essentials to build a successful existence.
Yeah.
And when you can learn your biology, when you can learn to shift your relationship with fear, when you can learn to not believe a thought you think, when you can learn to treat yourself like the energy you are, it's like choose your own adventure.
Absolutely. Ooh, choose your own adventure, baby. I mean, even the words that you use, it's like, oh, yeah, I resonate with that. Absolutely. One final piece of advice for, a woman out there, whether they're about to start their business or are already in their business and dealing with maybe a plateau, maybe dealing with a necessity for a reinvention, what would you say?
I would say a few things. Take a moment and focus on the good. Because when you're in the experience, Michelle, that you just laid out, the mind loves to show you loss. The mind is wired to show us loss, not gain. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really important that you put your focus and attention on, hold on. If I'm in a plateau, I'm not going to make that mean anything. Look at what I've built. Look at what I've done, right? Really, number one, do that for yourself. Number two, don't believe a thought you think. Your mind is so untrustworthy. It is so unhelpful. Until you learn how to use it intentionally, it's literally not a thought. So if a thought comes in, you go, no, thanks, and you let it float on by because it is just wired to keep you the same. It is not wired to help you be amazing. And then the final piece is, if you're at that point, then it affirms it's time to come within and evolve your identity into the version of you that your dreams require. Typically, when we're experiencing a plateau or a mehness or a stuckness, we have been trained to look outside of ourselves. So we try to pick up another formula or another strategy. And what I need you to do is don't do that. I need you to stop and I need you to evolve yourself. And in doing that, you're going to have dramatically different results.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That kind of like, I feel like lands the plane for sure. Thank you so much, Tracy, for spending time today with Sophia and I, and really equipping her, pouring into her, and just, examining, this particular situation that she's going through. And because, she's a teenager, but this process of becoming is collective at a human level, the same whether I'm, 48 years old or 16 years old,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this time, and I love this connection with you, Sophia, and helping you. And there's one other thing I want to gift you and everyone listening. It's really important, especially in the stage you're in. In any moment that you can, zoom out to the 25-year-old version of you, right? So right now you're 17, 16, right? Okay. So you could even say, okay, you know what? The 22-year-old version of me, the 25-year-old version of me, and start to tap into, well, what would she do? Because the current version of us,
right? A memory of you right now.
Right, exactly. Because listen, I mean, we get really geeky and we realize that there's like all different potentials happening at the same space and time. But when we really realize, Sophie, it's like, hold on a second. This experience of teenagehood in the scheme of your life is like 10% of what you're going to experience, right? So when you can go high and go, wait a minute, what would 25-year-olds may do? The version of you that's chilling, doing her thing with her business, living in her apartment, loving life, going out with friends, What would she say about this moment in time? And when you learn how to let her lead now, it is a wildly amazing experience.
Boom, my friend. That was a good reminder for me.
We all need it. The woman you're looking at now, I'm not in charge. I abdicate all my power to my next level self. She's just telling me what to do. I'm like, okay. That's it.
Yeah, it just brings you perspective. What an easy, simple strategy to bring perspective to whatever situation you're dealing with. Thank you so very much, my friend.
You're welcome.
It is an honor. Thank you so much. And I feel like we could talk forever, Tracy, that you could come back and
love it.
keep on talking.
I'm available and I would love it. This was so special. I love what the two of you are doing together. It's so significant and it's so inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And for everyone listening to us, if you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review, share with an amazing woman or teenager in your life, and just happy and grateful to be able to come into your home every single week with another episode of Becoming Wealthy. So thank you so much, and until the next.